Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today's Saturday, hope you're having a great weekend. It is Eric Larson Day and that is why we are looking at the next issue of his The Savage Dragon run. This is issue 5, cover dated October 1993. Not much to say about the cover here. I feel like Eric Larson is kind of fighting deadlines and maybe around these issues that we've been reviewing. So, you know, quick cover design, dragon punching a character. Let's make the logo really big in the background. And just what I think is the great touch in this image here is the little bit of blood here where the strike happens. You know, the blood flying off, I guess, from the fist of the Savage Dragon, and the bit of blood probably coming out of his mouth over here of this character. I think it's double header or something. Not 100% sure. And yeah, I mean, it makes for a simple and effective cover, I would say. You know, when you see it on the newsstand or at the comic book shop, I guess, it does stand out. Weird background color choice. Again, I think I mentioned that a few issues ago, like these dark, just not a very attractive color, I think, for a cover. Like an orange or a flashier yellow color rather would have probably drawn even more attention. I don't know what the color choice was with these kind of darkish browny gray colors. Anyways, enough about the cover. Let's have a look inside. Starts off with a great kind of, not quite a splash page, but a great shot of Savage Dragon beating the crap out of a guy. Double header. Yeah, that's effectively his name. I think the way he's folded over here is really clever, right? With the butt and the legs kind of in the foreground and the rest of his body in the middle ground there. I think that's a really kind of cool shot, actually. And hard to pull off to get the face, you know, the right elements of the face between the legs here, so you still understand what's going on there. Just great angles and anatomy all throughout this first page here. And the broken border going outside of the page, I haven't seen that very much. I think that's pretty darn cool. I might need to steal that. That's a great idea. Implies that the action is continuing on outside of the page, not just outside of like the border. So yeah, very cool. I'm gonna have to remember that. Let's look at the credits. Image Comics presents Savage Dragon. Story, pencils, inks, Eric Larson. Letters, Chris Eliopoulos. Colors, Steve Oliff. So that's page 1. Page 2 and 3, we've no longer got the Kirby 70s motif with the double page splash here. Dragon noticing, you know, who he thinks is maybe Mighty Man, I guess. And he's like, couldn't be. I must be losing my mind, right? And we do know that Mighty Man is back. We talked about it with the backup story, I think, last issue, and we'll talk about it a bit more with the backup story in this issue here. And how cleverly Eric Larson, plot-wise and story-wise, is using those extra short stories to further the Savage Dragon world and continuity, right? So he's explaining Mighty Man's appearing in the actual Savage Dragon comic, but what's actually going on is being explained in those added little short stories. Great down shot. I always mention a great down shot. They are hard to do. So, you know, all these guys, even Rob Liefeld is really good at it. I got to keep practicing. I still struggle and have to really work hard at it to make it look right when I do them. So, I mean, in this issue, there's some questions being raised as to Dart's abilities. You know, if she's, you know, strong enough and superhero-y enough to be on the police force. That's kind of the discussion that's going on here. And then we've got, you know, this woman coming in, you son of a... And basically what's revealed is this is the mother of Savage Dragon's somewhat girlfriend who was killed in issue 0, Image Comics 0, and before the regular series started. So between the miniseries and between the regular series, she was killed, and the mother blames Dragon, obviously, for the death of her daughter. So we get a bit of a overlord here, right? Because Savage Dragon basically is going to be coming gunning for him eventually, pretty soon, in the next few issues. And it's just kind of a funny sequence where this character is kind of trying to tell Overlord what's what and how he should be doing things. And it gives us a hint a little bit about the character of Overlord, which we probably expected. Not the kind of guy who wants to take advice from his subordinates. So basically just blows them away into a pile of dust here. So that gives us kind of a semblance of the actual power level of Overlord, right? Which we'll discover more about that in a few issues too, in conflict with the Savage Dragon. So we jump in on a page here where all these characters who are supposed to be on the same side are fighting, right? So we're just thrown right in the thick of things. So, you know, what is going on here, right? And Barbaric throws something here. You know, a big chunk of debris is going to fall on Rapture. And of course, Savage Dragon comes in and saves the day. I think this is maybe the beginning hints of a romance between Savage Dragon and Rapture. And Savage Dragon just starts giving barbaric shit and basically explaining, now we understand that this whole sequence is basically a training exercise, right? So that's why they were at odds with each other and fighting each other. So I like this little bit of subplot. This lady here who's coming, she wants to visit Savage, or talk to the Savage Dragon, right? So he's trying to, tell her that it's not really a good idea to go see them. They're maybe training in the underground. What did you say your name was? Emily Schwartzblatt. And I came here all the way from Kansas City to see Officer Dragon, my little boy Rodney. So we saw a few issues ago when this lady saw Savage Dragon on TV, she just assumed that it was her boy Rodney, who I guess had disappeared or maybe died or something. And you see a picture of Rodney. He kind of does look like the Savage Dragon, although he's not green. He's actually a white guy with a mohawk, right? And again, in this issue, Larsen just seems to want to throw us into the middle of a situation, so we're kind of off kilter and like, what's going on? It's kind of something he's done a couple of times, like here in this issue. So maybe something he was just trying out. So we've got this character who's holding Frank up by the neck, and Dragon just in time punches through the wall here, almost kind of like in Dark Knight Returns and in RoboCop, which I think was influenced by Dark Knight Returns when RoboCop busts through the wall. All of this stems from Dark Knight Returns, so I think Erik Larsen is giving a little nod to that there as well. And Savage Dragon is kind of like, I know something's up, Frank, so we're going to have to talk. And he's like, okay, finally. He knows there's something fishy going on. So Frank finally explains the whole thing where, Dragon was working at the warehouse. He wanted him to help out on the police force, but Dragon didn't want to. So he kind of pushed a few of these baddies to threaten his cousin Frank, not thinking necessarily they would kill him and blow up the whole enterprise, right? And then Dragon did join the police force. But the Vicious Circle, they did know Frank was the one who kind of put in the call, so they were kind of blackmailing him. And that's what's being explained here. So a bit of exposition from the past. Larsen's smart. He gets it all kind of done in one page. And he's smart too, because this artwork here is basically just a photocopy from issue 1 of the miniseries, which, I'm not going to fault him. That's a smart idea. And what he's done is had the colors done in a monochrome, kind of blue-greenish blue. Which obviously highlights the fact that that's a flashback, right? Makes it obvious that this is, the past and this is the present. It's an old trick. So basically Dragon is like, well, now we have to go after them, basically is what he's saying. It's gone too far. Things have gotten too out of hand. The bad guys have too much on you. You can't ignore that. Your career is already over. My best advice would be to vanish, be realistic. If you stay, they'll find a way to kill you, period. Don't be stupid. You screwed up that too much already. The bad guys have too much damaging evidence. You've got nothing to lose. Damn. So he's going to have him disappear, but as we know, I know anyways, Frank will be coming back. Great pinup by Adam Hughes. I just don't want to turn this so it messes up my focus on the camera. But yeah, great pinup by Adam Hughes. Much better than the artwork I saw in the short story a few issues ago. Next issue, a Twisted Dragon and Super Patriot poster by Jay Lee. Not sure we actually got to see this. I'm going to have to keep an eye out in next issue. I certainly hope this is just something I don't remember and I missed, because just from reading this description, I'm very interested in seeing that. So Dragon kind of also, says to Frank, he's like, you're still my friend, and, I forgive you, basically. And this is where we're going to be left off with this issue. Dragon gathering, all of the other members of the police force, which will become Freak Force, and, planning an assault on this Vicious Circle group that we got here. We've got the Puck and Wolverine character mixed together here. This guy here, I forget his name, but I think he just propels poop. I think we're going to find out next issue. I gotta say, I have a penchant. I love characters who have bodily fluid powers. Seems like Erik Larsen does too, because this guy throws poop, if I'm not mistaken. And last issue we had a character who throws pus around and stuff. So yeah, I have a weird fascination with that, and I think characters based on that are hilarious. So busting it. This is obviously a comics trope, right? I've used it to full effect in my comic Big Baby a couple times, not even on purpose. Busting through doors, busting through windows. Erik Larsen does a great job of it. And that's what he leaves you with this issue here. So the Savage Dragon and Freak Force busting in on the Vicious Circle. Guess we'll find out next issue what actually happens, right? And obviously he's setting up the ongoing series Freak Force, which will be coming out really soon, if this ad is anything we could base that on. And the short story here, once again, focusing on Mighty Man. This time the creative team is a little bit different, but I think from the same studio as Adam Hughes. A lot of the short stories that Erik Larsen has in around this time are from a bunch of artists from the same studio who worked with like Brian Steelfreeze, Adam Hughes, and this guy, David Williams. Creator, writer, storyteller, Erik Larsen. Penciler, David Williams. Inker, Carl Kessel. Letters, Chris Eliopoulos. And colorist is Ruben Rude. So, you know, Adam Hughes is often given a lot of credit for drawing beautiful women. At this period, when I read this short story, you know, I actually thought, well, you know what? I think this guy actually probably does, you know, as good a job or even better than what I saw last issue with Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes has maybe continued and gotten better and stuff. I've not seen any kind of recent work from this guy, or I don't think I have. I haven't heard of him still drawing today. But I definitely think his artwork here is better than what we saw from Adam Hughes. And again, this is just Mighty Man fighting a bad guy, leaving his friend on the roof and eventually coming back together. And that's basically what we have here. Very good art on a short story. Continuing the Mighty Man story that will eventually bleed into Freak Force and bleed into Savage Dragon. And again, I've mentioned it before, I think Erik Larsen is the best of all the Image guys at creating that kind of continuity between titles and interlacing the storytelling and introducing characters to have them spin off into another series, all without skimping on the story and the character. Where guys like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld, I felt, were, you know, the Splinter books that were kind of spinning off from their main books lacked a lot of focus. The whole world itself lacked a lot of focus. It was like they were creating a lot of characters, but not giving them any kind of specific storyline or character traits, right? So they became kind of generic, where I think Erik Larsen, the way he did it, each character, you know, still had a personality, different characteristics one from the other, different looks too, and just intelligently woven into the main title and then spun out into its own thing. I think out of all of them, Erik Larsen did it best. So there you have it. That was the Savage Dragon issue 5. Thoughts, comments, let me know down below. Those of you who are subscribed and are still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate your loyalty and support. Those who are not subscribed but are watching videos, please do so below. Subscribe. It really helps out the channel, helps get us out there, helps give us more visibility. And I just want to hope everyone out there has an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.